Hi guys, welcome back to The Makeup Hunter. I'm Laura. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you an in-depth look at the makeup I took on a recent mini break. I went away for 5 days in the UK and I thought I'd take a deep dive into the makeup that I took with me. I'll show you exactly what I took, why I took it, and give you a little bit of a mini review on all of the products. So if that is something that you think you'd be interested in, then please do keep watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. It means the absolute world to me. Hit that like button, leave me a comment, and let's have a look at the makeup. Okay, so in my next video I am going to be showing you how I got this makeup look that I'm wearing today using some of the products that I took away with me. So that will be coming up in a few days hopefully. So this is the makeup bag that I bought to take away with me. It's just from Amazon. If you just search makeup travel case, there's many different brands, colours and sizes. Now I have one about twice the size of this, which I've shown in previous videos, that I was using to store my Shop My Stash items, and when I was previously going on holiday that would be the travel makeup bag that I took with me. But it's just too big. It's fine for like longer trips, like if I'm going away for 2 weeks or something like that, but for this sort of 5-day 4-night trip I wanted something smaller, so I picked this one up. It's exactly the same as my big one, so it's got a section for brushes, it's got a little zip pocket that you can put palettes in or a mirror, and then it comes with a lot of these like foam inserts that you can section it off. I keep one long one at the top for palettes and long items, and then I like one for like base products, and then one for lips and brows. So that's the bag I took with me. Now I've just given you a glimpse of the brushes that I took with me. I took the BH Cosmetics Poolside Chic brush set. They're all these white handled brushes with the blue ferrule, and they're like sort of like a duo fibre synthetic brush. It's a really good set because it's got a nice big powder brush, it's got one for cream bronzer. This is the one that I use for my cream bronzer. It's like a stippling brush. It's got a good range of eye brushes. It also comes with a brow brush with a spoolie, which is kind of an essential for me, and the eye brushes are a really good variation in sizes. So these are the eye brushes in the set. So the only other makeup tools that I took with me were, I stuck in this Colourpop highlight brush. It's the F5, as I like a smaller brush for applying powder underneath my eye, so I put that in. I also took with me my eyelash curler. This is just one from Japanese. A makeup sponge. I can't go anywhere without a makeup sponge, so this is a brand new one, but I took my Real Techniques one. And then I also took 2 of these mini little powder puffs. I got a big pack of these off Amazon. I think there was a pack of 20 for something like £7, and these are perfect for applying powder under the eye and for doing my setting spray trick, which I like to do, which is after I've applied my bronzer and everything, like all my base products, I spritz my face with setting spray and then use one of these puffs to just press it into the skin. So I took those with me. Now onto the makeup products that I took with me. So I'm just going to get everything out and I'm going to go through each item one by one, and I'm going to go in the order that I would apply it. For skincare, I am quite lucky to have quite a big variety of deluxe size samples. Cult Beauty sometimes do these goodie bags, and I had the self-care goodie bag, which had a really good range of deluxe skincare samples in. So for instance, this is one of them. This is the 111 Skin day cream. So I took that as my moisturiser, and I had enough deluxe samples to take every stage of my skincare routine, bar eye cream, which I didn't bother taking. But I had a night cream, a day cream, a night serum, a day serum, a cleansing balm, a cleansing wash. So, and I also even had a hair treatment which I put in. I also have loads of little perfume samples, so when I'm travelling I always throw in a handful of perfume samples rather than taking a full size. So if you are going away and you're looking for some hints and tips on packing, then hands down one of my biggest tips would be samples of anything you can take with you. So even if you've got foundation samples, take those with you. And perfume samples are great because you can just throw them into a bag. You haven't got to worry about a glass bottle smashing or leaking, and you can get a couple of days use out of one of these samples. So let's start with the makeup products that I took with me. So I didn't bother taking a primer per se. I'm not really one for primers. I will use them occasionally, and I have got quite a good collection of them, but I think as long as you've got really good skincare down, then that works as a perfect base for makeup. What I do like using for a primer, especially when I'm going to be out in the sun, is the Care Gel Colour Cream. This is the light one in it's SPF 50. This is a tinted SPF which has got UVB and UVA sun protection, and it's got enough coverage to it that I am quite comfortable just wearing this and not any foundation. So this is a great multi-use product for me because it's a primer, SPF and a tinted moisturiser. So that's the first product that I took. And then for my daily foundation, I took the NYX Born to Glow foundation. I've been obsessed with this foundation since I bought it. It's a naturally radiant foundation. I'd say it's got a light medium coverage. It can be built up, but it has a lovely radiance to it, and I like to put my tinted SPF down and just a few dots on of this where I need a little bit of extra coverage, and I'm quite happy to have that as my sort of day-to-day foundation. So that was the one foundation that I took. And then just before I went away, I made a Boots order of some items that had been on my wish list for a while. One of the items that I got was the Dior Face and Body Foundation. This is from the Backstage line of the Dior brand, and this just says Face and Body Foundation. It's in the shade 1C. It's the foundation that I'm wearing today, and I took this as my sort of like evening foundation. It's still a good solid light coverage foundation, but I find the finish of it really beautiful. It's got a really elegant luxury sort of finish to it. So these were sort of like my perfect day and night time foundations. So then the next product that I took was concealer, And when I got the Dior Face and Body Foundation, I also picked up the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix. This is in the shade number 1 Rose Quartz, and this is an eye brightener. So it's this Rose Quartz shade is a pale pink shade. It's what I have on under my eyes today. I don't have any other concealer on, and I bought this to sort of replace my Becca under eye brightener, but I find that this has more coverage than the Becca, and it's not as dewy and glossy under the eyes. It's a beautiful product, and I'm so glad I picked it up. It was one that I wasn't really that fussed about, and I wasn't going to bother, but I'm so glad I picked this up. And then for more full coverage days, I took my Nabla Close Up Stay Full Smooth Concealer. This is in the shade Porcelain. This is a really nice concealer. It's good full coverage, it's really brightening, lasts a really long time under my eyes, it doesn't crease, and it's just a really solid concealer that I know that I can trust. So those were my 2 concealer choices. And then I have I'll finish this section first. So this is sort of going slightly out of order of how I apply things. But for cream bronzer, I took my Nude Sticks Bondi Bay. This is the bronzer that I have on my skin today. It's a beautiful shade. The thing I like most about this is the shade, because it's quite cool toned, but it's a perfect sort of, not so much cool tone, but neutral toned bronzer. So I can use this for contour, I can also use it to warm up my face. It's a great sort of bronzer product. I absolutely love the formula. I find the Nude Sticks cream cheek products wear really well. They last a nice decent amount of time on the skin. They don't fade, they don't transfer, they're just a really solid formula. So that was the cream bronzer that I took. I also took powder bronzer, but I'll move on to that. It's in another section of this bag. So that was the bronzer that I took. And then I took 2 blushers. So again, Nude Sticks, these are the nudies. I took the shade Bareback, which is the blush I have on today. This is like a lovely dusky cool toned pink. It goes with absolutely every eye look you could imagine, and it's one of my most used cream blushes. And then I also took the shade Sunkissed. Now this is actually considered a bronzer, so it's an all over bronze colour, and it's this lovely like sun-kissed rusty red tone, and I do use this like a bronzer on occasion. So what I'll do is I'll put Bondi Bay down, and then just on the high points I'll put a few dots of Sunkissed, and it does give that lovely, like you've been out in the sun a little bit too long. It's that like sunburnt look, but it's also a beautiful blush. It's like a nice rusty red toned blush, and it does give that real natural like flush, like terracotta flush to the cheeks. So those were the 2 blushes I took. I didn't take any powder blushes with me. And then I also took, for setting spray, this travel size of the Benefit Professional Super Setter. This has been an absolute godsend for travelling. It's a perfect size to fit in this makeup bag, but you get a decent amount of product, and it's a brilliant setting spray for in the heat. It really does lock in your makeup. Your makeup's not going to go anywhere when you wear this. There was a couple of occasions while I was away that I did nap in my makeup, which I never ever do, but I did do while I was away, and my makeup still looked perfect after I'd woken up. You know, I'd been on a pillow and my makeup still looked perfect. So I think this has a lot to do with it. And then for eye primer, I just took my standard MAC Painterly, not Painterly, sorry, Laying Low paint pot. This is in my project pan at the moment, and it's just a tried and true eye primer. I can use just this on my eyes just for a little bit of warmth, and it looks lovely. So it's like a multi-use product for me as well. And then the mascaras that I took with me are just the ones that I'm trying to use up at the moment. So it's Too Faced Damn Girl. Now, I actually don't like this mascara. I absolutely love how it makes my lashes look, but I hate the formula. So it's a really big, like, traditional hourglass wand. It's very similar to the Too Faced Better Than Sex wand, but what I hate about it is how much product comes off on the brush. It's so goopy, so I find that I have to take loads of product off the brush by scraping it around the top, and then I end up with this situation, and not all of it goes back into the tube, and I'm finding that I'm getting bits that are drying out and falling off each time I open it. So it's a bit, I mean, you can see it's just a mess. It's just a really messy formula and a messy wand. It's not messy when I apply it. It can look a little bit clumpy if I don't take enough product off. But it's super lengthening and volumizing. It's a really beautiful mascara. I just hate this situation, and I'm probably only going to use it a couple more times, and then I'm probably going to get rid of it. So that was that one. And then I also took the Kevyn Aucoin the volume mascara. This is what I'm using in place of my MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash, which I've actually finished. This is another tubing mascara, so it doesn't transfer or smudge on my bottom lashes, and I do have quite long bottom lashes, so I always like a tubing mascara for under there. This is just a very basic small wand, which is ideal for getting on the bottom lashes. It's a beautiful, beautiful mascara. So that's the first section completed. Okay, next up I'll go through the section at the top, the long section, which has got like my palettes and powder products in. So I only took one eyeshadow palette with me, which was I got just before we went away, which was the Sigma Ambience palette. This is a beautiful eyeshadow palette. It's what I've got on my eyes today. I'm just obsessed with this palette. I can't stop using it. It's a beautiful warm toned, like yellow toned palette, with some beautiful pops of gold. The shimmers in this palette are out of this world. There's different formulas, so you've got more of like your traditional softer shimmer, and then these sort of really foiled intense shimmers. It also comes with a brush, which is perfect for traveling. It gives me another brush option, and I can go really super like simple natural on the eyes, or I can do a really, you know, smoky glam evening look. So I absolutely love this palette, and it's perfect for traveling. So also in this back section are my powder products and highlighter. Now unfortunately I did have a casualty, but that has happened since I've come back. It didn't happen while I was away. So the powder that I took with me was my Urban Decay Stay Naked pressed powder. This is one of my favourite powders, one that I've rediscovered recently, and it got quite a big pan on, and unfortunately because of that pan it has completely shattered. Now as you can see, I have got quite a bit of it still left, I am going to try and continue to use it. I might try and repress it, but I was finding before this happened that it was getting messy. So because of the size of the pan that I'd got in it, bits were coming off and crumbling and going down my clothes and things like that. So if I'm going to continue to use this, I am probably going to have to try and repress it. Otherwise I might just dispose of it. I have a lot of powders in my collection, you know, too many really to fuss with a broken product. So it's a really lovely powder. You can't get it, it's been sort of reformulated, I think, and repackaged, and they now call it the Stay Naked Powder Foundation, I think, whereas this was just the pressed finishing powder. So I'm not entirely sure if this is still available. I've got a funny feeling it's not, but it's a lovely formula. It doesn't look cakey. It does add a little bit of coverage to the skin, but it really locks everything in place. So yeah, that was my casualty, unfortunately. So another item that I purchased when I bought the Dior foundation and the Fenty concealer was the Dior Powder No Powder. Now this was bought because I am a big fan of Samantha March, and she absolutely loves this powder, goes on about it constantly. She has a similar skin type to mine, and she also has a similar makeup preference. So I had a feeling that I would like this powder, and I am obsessed. It's beautiful. I've already worn some of the embossing of it. So this is the shade 1N. It's the powder that I have all over my face and under my eyes today. Now I have decided that on payday I am going to get another 2 of these powders. So this is the shade 1N, and it's not quite brightening enough for me under the eyes, and they do a shade 0, which I'm going to pick up for underneath my eyes. And I'm also going to pick up the shade 4N to use as a bronzer. I absolutely adore the formula of this powder, and if I had a bronzer in this same formula, it would be the absolute dream. It performs almost like a cream, but sets your makeup in place. It's that baked gelée formula, so they tend to sort of have the appearance and the finish of a cream whilst being a powder. So a bronzer in this formula would be beautiful, and if I could just have that shade brighter for underneath my eye, I'd be set and really happy. So that just tells you how much I love this powder, and the hype is real. The fact that I'm going to get another 2 in this formula. And then for my powder bronzer option, I took my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. So I remember absolutely loving this when I first got it. It was one of those products that I'd always wanted because I'd seen it all over YouTube. Everybody raved about it, but it wasn't available in the UK for a long time. So when it became available in Boots, I grabbed it and I was obsessed with it. I've used quite a lot of it. I've got a decent sort of dip in the pattern. I absolutely love the smell of it, but using it now, this time around, I'm really not impressed, and I do not see the hype. And I think it's because since trying this product for the first time, I've used so many cream bronzers and powder bronzers that are affordable, like this one is, that just surpass this quality. I find, if you can, I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see, but I keep getting hard panning it. I find that I have to keep dipping in and going over to get any kind of colour payoff. I find that it's really hard to get a decent amount of coverage, which, because you have to keep going in so many times, it can end up looking muddy and patchy, and it's just not, it's just okay. And I have so many bronzers in my collection that I love that I have decided to declutter this. It seems pointless keeping a product in my collection just for the sake of it. So I am going to be decluttering this. I'm going to see if my mum wants it. She doesn't own any bronzers because she never bronzes her skin, but I'm going to see if she wants this. If not, I should probably just get rid of it. So that is going to be moved out of my collection. And now we are finished that section, and we're on to lips and some other miscellaneous items. So at the top of this small section I have my brow products. So the products that I took with me, I was going to take my Glossier Boy Brow, which is in my capsule makeup collection, and it's also in my project pan. It's like my favourite product to use on my brows at the moment, but I wanted to try something else, give something else a chance from my collection. So I took the Glossier Brow Flick. This is in the shade brown, and I took my Revolution Brow Gel in the shade dark brown. Now this is okay. It's a little bit finicky. I find that it's, for this kind of product, I wish it was a little less pigmented. So it is very easy to go overboard with this product. So I find that I'm okay if I use it in the main body of my brows, but if I try and make sort of like flicks, like hair-like strokes at the front, and I had a dermaplaning incident and shaved the tail of this brow off by accident, if I try and add strokes with this, it's really obvious. It looks really harsh. So I sort of use this like a brow pencil, and it's okay, but it's one that I sort of need to perfect it. And I also want to try this as faux freckles. So that was the brow pen that I took with me. And the gel, I hate this stuff. I absolutely hate it. So I've got both of these products in my brows today, and the reason I hate this brow gel, it's just a simple traditional brow gel with a little wand. It's so wet. It is really wet, and it deposits a hell of a lot on the brow. Even when I've scraped most of the product off, I find that I end up with like blobs of it everywhere. And it's also, because it's such a dark colour and it's so pigmented, that if you get any on your skin, it's really hard to get it off. And I was finding that I was having to put concealer over the top of my brows, where I'd sort of brush this up through my brows. It also does absolutely nothing for the hold. No sooner is it dried than it drops down. It doesn't claim to have any fibres in it, so it doesn't sort of add to the fullness of my brow, which I find the Glossier one does. It sort of makes them look a bit fluffier and thicker, but this just does absolutely nothing for my brows other than add a really wet, messy tint. So I had a conversation with my dad while I was away when I was doing my makeup in the lounge, and I just said, I hate this product. It makes me look like I've got big, ugly squirrel eyebrows, and it's just far too much hard work for a cheap brow gel. So I'm going to also be decluttering that from my collection. So on to some more eye products. I took a couple of cream shadows with me to use to sort of try and get some more use out of. I took my new Giorgio Armani eye tint in the shade number 10 Senso. I absolutely love this product. I used this a couple of times while I was away. It's perfect for just a light wash of like subtle satin colour across the eye. It's a beautiful sort of neutral brown, and it's not super shimmery. It just adds like a sheen to the lid, so I absolutely loved having that with me. I also took the Danessa Myricks Nude number 7, which is this beautiful like mustardy brown tone, and I used this in conjunction with the Giorgio Armani eye tint, and I also used it in conjunction with my Sigma Ambience palette. I use this just for like a wash of colour across the lid and crease, and then I just put a shimmer on my over the top on my eyelid. Beautiful product, and so easy to use, and it lasts. These are bulletproof. And then the other colour fix that I took with me was the shade Coins, and again I think I only used this once. I just used this in conjunction with my Ambience palette, put a couple of mattes through the crease, and then just this across the lid, and it was super pretty. And then the last products that I have in here are all lip products. So I took my Laneige Lip Glowy Balm. This is in the peach flavour. This goes absolutely everywhere with me. I put it in my handbag, I have it by my bed at night. It's just the best balm I've ever used. I love it. And then I hadn't meant to take this with me, but it was in my handbag. This is the Fenty Slip Shine lipstick in Quartz Candy. This is basically just a balm with a hint of shimmer through it, and we were still wearing masks and that while we went away, so lip products haven't been a top priority for me. So what I did on a couple of occasions was just use the lip liner that I took with me and then just put this over the top, and that's pretty much been mostly what I've been wearing recently. The lip liner in question is BFF2 from Colourpop. This is one of my favourite lip liners. It's a nice rich warm brown, and it goes with absolutely everything. It's nice and straight down the middle, so it doesn't pull too pink, it doesn't pull too peach, it doesn't pull too brown. It's just lovely neutral that I find is so close to my own lip colour that I can pretty much wear any lip colour with this lip liner. And then sticking to the theme that I was saying about struggling with lip products being a priority because of mask situation and all of that, I've been favouring a balm over any other lip product. So I took 4 of my Nude Sticks gel colour balms. These can be used on the lips and the cheeks, and I took 4 colours with me. So I took Tay Tay, which is this beautiful pinky toned nude. Just do a swatch of all these for you. So that one is Tay Tay, and then the one that I have on my lips today is Ali, which you can see I've used the most. I've had to sharpen this a few times. This is a little bit lighter and peachier. And then for more of a colourful option, I took the shade Rebel, which is this beautiful pale nudie pink. So that's Rebel. And I wore all 3 of those. I also took the shade Siren, which is this beautiful bright vibrant red, but it is that balm formula, so you can wear it quite softly if you want to. But I didn't I didn't wear that one. I didn't really get the opportunity. And then for another fun lip option, I took this crushed oil infused gloss from Bobbi Brown. This is in the shade Hot Streak, and I wore this a couple of times and have become low-key obsessed with this lip product. So it looks quite vibrant when you swatch it, but on the lips it looks more pink than this like vibrant orange. It's like a lovely bright orangey pink, like a coral colour, and it's so comfortable because it's the oil infused. It's very thin and nourishing while it's on the lips. It's not sticky or messy or anything like that, and as it wears off it just leaves the stain of colour behind and a slight bit of sort of that hydrating sort of sheen to the lips. So it's not super glossy, it just leaves like a nice hint of something. So that was all the makeup products that I took with me on my little mini break. When I'm away, I feel like I'm the best version of myself. Like, I love the way my hair looks, I love the way my makeup looks, and I always feel like it looks better when I'm away than when I'm at home. Like, I wore this exact makeup probably while I was, well, I did wear this exact makeup while I was away, and I feel like it looked 10 times better there than it did here. We stayed at a Haven caravan park in Norfolk. We had a privately owned caravan, static caravan. My parents are still looking into purchasing one, and we're trying lots of different areas and sites to see where we want to sort of end up. And the park that we went to was called the Wild Duck Caravan Park, and it's beautiful. It's in the middle of the woods. It's a woodland caravan park. It's called Wild Duck because there's literally wild ducks wandering around the campsite. There's some beautiful dog walks to go on. I was absolutely loving walking Ray while I was away. I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning most mornings to take him for a walk. He was going on like 4 walks a day. I was absolutely killing it with my steps. But we just had an absolutely amazing time. Unfortunately, it didn't go without a hitch. The very morning we were due to go, I had to take my dad to casualty because he is 67 years old and thinks he's 21, and on the we left on the Tuesday, and on the Sunday he played 70 minutes of a 90-minute charity football match and ruptured his Achilles tendon. So he'd been in agony but refusing to go and get it looked at, and on the morning we were due to go he finally caved. So instead of leaving at like 10 AM which we'd planned, he didn't come out of casualty until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, with a full leg plaster and crutches. So we didn't arrive at the site until gone 10 o'clock at night, and we were all absolutely exhausted. But we didn't let it ruin it. We had an absolutely amazing time. My dad is one of the most positive people I've ever met. He doesn't let anything like that get him down, and although we couldn't do as much as we planned, we still had a lovely time. And him not being as mobile made me be a lot more active and mobile, you know, doing the things that he would usually do. So it was a really lovely break, and I wish I was still there now. Since we've come back, as usual, I've paid for the holiday. My body's made me pay for it, and for the last couple of days, last week I had a bad flare and then sciatica, which seems to be a new side effect of a flare-up. I get sciatica afterwards, which has been great fun. So to film a couple of videos, I have got some cocoa to melt on board and hot water bottle in my back, and I've managed to film, so go me. So I'm sorry there hasn't been many videos from me again lately, but hopefully now I'm over the worst of the flare and I can sort of move a bit more with the sciatica, I'm gonna get some videos filmed, so here's hoping. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed watching me, and if you did, do please click that subscribe button, leave me a like, leave me a comment. It really helps me out to know, you know, what you want to see from me, and so on and so forth. So keep loving yourself, keep loving each other. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. Bye.